Welcome back to A Corporate Time. This next interview, he's going to be at Porky's Comedy Club November 22nd in St. Cloud.
Yeah, sir. If you've never been to Porky's Comedy Club, go there. Give it a shot, man. In the smack dab in the middle of St. Cloud. Great people, good food, and obviously great comedy.
And this comedian's been doing it for a while. On the line with us right now, Bob Zany. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing great, and I'm not sure if this is Tom or Dan.
Well, I mean, we all kind of blend together. I'm Dan, and that's Tom over there.
Yeah. We're two generic white dudes, so it's interchangeable.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter. But hey, thank you so much for being so patient with us. It's a crazy week for us because we have our Bad at Business Beer Fest, but we also know that you're going to be at Porky's, and Porky's has always been good to us. And when we saw your name come up, I kind of freaked out a little bit because we're super familiar with you. In fact, I would like to defend your 15-year-old self's joke of when you came out on the Gong Show and you said, some of you might wonder how I got the name Zany. Well, it's an interesting story. And then you move on, and that's a goddamn good joke, dude. It made me laugh.
Thank you. Well, you know, the beauty of that segment, that's 1977. I'd never performed in my life. And you know how you've heard of garage bands? I was a bathroom mirror comedian.
Really?
And I practiced my act in front of the mirror, and I went out and did my thing, and I was pulled off stage by a man dressed like a nun with a big net. So you guys can't hurt me.
Okay, that's exactly Bob, what I said. I was like, the reps that you have, Bob, you're impervious to anything.
Well, Bob, that's what I wanted to talk about, because you come from a different generation of comedians when being a comedian and a stand-up was way harder and way more road work and way more just getting the opportunity to get up on stage was way harder.
Getting in front of people. I mean, you didn't even have the internet.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Gong Show, you're 15 years old. I'm laughing now because
so awesome, dude.
If you've seen like America's Got Talent in 2024, they don't even let real people get up there and get X'd out.
No,
it's all actors now because America can't handle real people like going out there trying their hardest and then getting the X. But back when you did it, it was like, in the 70s, everybody's smoking, like they didn't care about the kids. Like literally someone netting you off the stage. Like people, it's insane how much of a tougher environment you grew up in considering,
It was cooler because had I been gonged, I wouldn't have gotten paid. I got paid $125.98 and a waffle iron, and my parents were really angry because we were a pancake family.
But it is cool that, like, when you did that, I mean, did you have to discuss with your folks or with your friends? How did you make it your way to the Gong Show? I mean, it's weird that you wouldn't think, I don't think many shows would humiliate a child, right? Like, they're not going to do that these days.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I just decided I wanted to be a comedian, and I thought that might be the avenue to go. My dad had to take me to the Gong Show because I needed a parent or guardian, and I wasn't really sure which he was. But anyway, the beauty of the Gong Show was that it's in the opening salvo of my documentary, Close But No Cigar. It opens up, and, we played it in theaters across America. And I'll sit in the audience and I watch it, and it's surreal. It's like, is that really me? Did that really happen? Yeah. Or is that AI in 1977?
Right. No, you're right.
So, Bob, let's talk about the documentary Close But No Cigar. And it kind of chronicles your 30-plus years of stand-up comedy. Let's just talk about some of the highest times of your career, some of the lowest times, and just the overall mentality to grind this long.
Well, first, I didn't plan well, gentlemen, so I have to keep working. But the second part is like, I came from the school of thought that, all the people I started out with, a lot of them became big stars. I mean, when I was 17, I was at the Comedy Store on open mic night, and I was working with people like Mike Binder, and you could just go down the line of all the people who went up and made it big, and now I'm here on your show. But the point is, no, but it does chronicle that. But when there was no real reward too back then. It's 79. Maybe you did the Playboy Club, you played the Comedy Store, the Improv. and you had to be a really good comic to open for someone in Vegas, and that was pretty much it. I mean, one or two people. Jimmy Walker, who's a good friend of mine. You know J.J. Walker, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be there at Porky's very soon too. I think for New Year's.
That's why I'm calling in to promote his New Year's show. Forget about me. But no. By the way, him and I work together sometimes, and we call it ebony and irony.
I like that. I like
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's.
I'm always thinking, and yet I'm sitting in a rent-a-car by a sign that says "dead end." Is that the sign I've been looking for?
That's it. That's it.
But you've done comedy. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, you've done some of the most unique appearances that probably won't come around again. Like, let's say The Tonight Show, when it was The Tonight Show, I'm using air quotes, or Jerry Lewis Telethon. Like I have relatives that play, music in Las Vegas, so I'm familiar with the telethon. How did you get to be on that? Because like these are you're performing for things that aren't going to be around anymore. You know, it's really historical almost.
Well, I did that for 17 years, and about 9 of them I co-hosted with
awesome.
people like Tom Bergeron, Casey Kasem, Norm Crosby, Ed McMahon. Every year would come out on the telethon and stand there and be my sidekick when I did my stand-up set. And so for 9 minutes of my life, I got to be Johnny Carson, because Ed would go, "And what was that, Bob?" And we did sketches together. I always try to do something new and different each time. One year, I had the director interrupt my set and said, "Bob, we put a best of tape together. Do you mind if we show it?" And I said, "Sure, go ahead." And they show it, and I said, "I'm not in it." He says, "Yeah, it's a best of."
Yeah, I like that. I love all of these bits, man. I'm here for it. But like also like the Tonight Show, you're doing the Tonight Show when it was still the Tonight Show, meaning it wasn't just little viral clips that were cut up and turned into, tiny files and scattered all over TikTok and Instagram. I mean, you were doing it when people like really tuned in to see the latest and greatest comedians that, they're breaking. So how was the vibe? I mean, like...
Well, the interesting thing is I got real close to doing it with Johnny. 6 months before they were going to go off the air, Ed McMahon called me up because I was doing Star Search. He said, "Bob, I want to get you on the Tonight Show." And he sent over a messenger to get a tape, which he did back then. And, I didn't get on only because everybody in the world wanted to be on. So I ended up doing it with Jay. And Jay Leno and Robert Urich. I don't know if you remember Robert from Vegas, the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like a hero of mine. I got to do it with him and Christy Brinkley. In fact, during my set, I was so ready to do this show, you guys. During my set, I was doing ad-libs off Jay's set, and I did an ad-lib about Christy Brinkley, which got applause breaks.
Oh, that's awesome.
But, I learned that from being on the Jerry Lewis Telethon. They really let me, it was live TV. I had no choice but to do it. So it really was a great, teacher.
Yeah,
to be ready for the Tonight Show.
Do you love that, though? Like, because Tom and I, we host some things sometimes, and we find that it's difficult. We have to think on your feet and improv, and you're so good at it. Do you enjoy the idea of getting up there and, like, co-hosting something and not knowing where you're going and then pulling it out at the end?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. In fact, there used to be this big, giant script they'd give everybody for the telethon, and they would come and say, "Bob Zany," and you ad-lib. They wouldn't even write anything
That's
for
awesome.
me.
Yeah, well, because they know you're going to do it right. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people think...
So, my act is that way. If they're going to come down to Porky's to check out the show, I work the crowd. Every show's different. And, I have jokes, obviously, but I also like to be in the moment and work off a crowd and feed me the information and see what I can do with it.
Well, like you've also done radio, with Bob and Tom, and the fact that, and that's really where I kind of heard your name the most is through, your appearances on shows. Like, how long have you been appearing on their show?
Well, I did it 17 years every Tuesday, and now I do it like 4 times a year.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I still go in or I call in. And I do the Zany Report. I have like 25 stations I call every week still across the country, even Alaska.
That's killer, man.
I do this. Yeah, and, I could do a quick Zany Report for you guys if you want.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. I love the Zany Report. I love these. Okay, great.
Okay, ask me another question while I find it on my phone, okay?
Okay.
All right, Well,
we could plug. We could take this opportunity to tell everybody to get the tickets, which I think is probably the the greatest thing we could do is to plug that you go to Porky's, you can get yourself some food, make a night of it, and go see some wonderful shows.
Yep.
Porky'sComedyClub.com.
Yep, November 22nd.
There you go. Bob Zany.
And 23rd.
And
Both
23rd.
Nights.
Okay.
2 nights, guys.
2 nights, 2 nights. How many shows you got there, Bob?
I'm not sure. That's a great question. I wish I paid more attention to some of this stuff.
It's fine. No,
Sounds like you guys,
it's totally
it sounds
fine.
like you're more on top of my career than I am.
Well, I mean,
Well,
Let's
you're
get right
so-
to it, you guys.
You're such a pro. You're just like, tell me where to go and give me a mic and I'm going.
and I'll do it.
I'm
I'm Bob Zany, goddammit.
Hey, let's get to the Zany Report, an exclusive feature now here on the Corporate Show.
I love
Is that the title of the show, the Corporate Show?
A corporate time with Tom and Dan.
Oh, Corporate Time. I guess DBA was taken. Okay. First up, Whoopi Goldberg said because of the election of Donald Trump, she'll no longer have sex with men. Whoopi, on behalf of all men everywhere, thank you.
Oh, yes! Yes!
I love it.
Whoopi claims she was denied service at a bakery because of her political views. The owner said that's not true. It's because it was all-you-can-eat muffin day.
Yes!
She really has sworn off men.
Muffin!
I love a good muffin joke.
Good news, bad news. Here's the bad news, you guys.
Okay.
A Norwegian fisherman caught a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine. The good news, they threw it back because they were at their nuclear-powered submarine limit for the month.
I love it.
A fishing joke!
This is a little feature. I have been doing this. I started out at KLOS in Los Angeles in the early 80s. I had my own radio show, and I'd call in the Fraser Smith in the mornings and then Shauna. So I've been doing the Zany Report that long. So I go back in time and revisit a past joke. So you guys just hang on. I'm going to go back in time, and you guys are going to join me. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, it worked. It's April 5th, 2011. Costco now is selling wedding dresses. The most overheard comment, does this dress make my ass look bulk in this?
Yes!
Bulk.
Bulk. He says bulk again. I love it.
And there it is. There's the Zany Report. Go to
I love
Bob.
it. Bob, thank you so much, man. Get your tickets. Go see Bob at Porky's. And hopefully one time we'll get you in here in person. And I'm sorry again for all the scheduling conflicts we had, man.
Don't worry about it. I roll with the punches. But you guys, also my Dry Bar comedy special, along with my stand-up clips at my official Bob Zany channel on YouTube, I have over 36 million views across all social media platforms. So if they want to check out a really great special, I've had people standing in line at my shows watching me on their phone before they go see me live.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I love it.
Because Bob, and I'm starting to understand, there's certain people in this world that Bob's personality is what you see on stage.
Yeah, he's just a funny person.
He's a naturally funny person, and he will. I think people think sometimes like, oh,
our
this guy's,
chat room loves him. They want us to find out how we can subscribe to a Zany Report.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got to tuck a little money in the old Zany.
Well, we could talk about it. I would love to call in every week with a Zany Report for you guys. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. We need stuff like that on our radio show.
You can get a cameo.
Well, Dan
Bob
has my email.
Yeah, I got it.
Dan has my email, and it's really great because it says Daniel, and that's my nephew's name. So I actually like that nephew. You guys are the best, baby.
All right,
Bob.
man. Take care, Bob. See you, man. That is Bob Zany, that's a real pro.